Today, we're going to delve into a world that is hidden from most, but one that is full of incredible discoveries and exciting stories. Have you ever wondered what goes on behind closed doors? Or how small details can change everything?
Daughter, what are you thinking? It's all men in there.
Mom, it's not just men. Don't. Yes, with me on the floor, there are two guys in one room and another one in the third. But on the floor below, there's a couple, a girl, and the landlady herself. Don't make up problems where there aren't any.
Oh, if you'd lived with me in communal apartments in your time, you wouldn't talk like that. Do you know how many cases there were?
When in the 90s, when it was scary to go out on the street? It's not like that now.
Yeah. They don't salt each other's soup, they don't steal shampoo, they don't do any other nasty things. They're all decent people.
Yes, Mom, decent. And even if they're not, we can resolve the issue through the landlord, even just in your own circle to discuss the problem and find a solution.
Oh, daughter, you don't know life.
Veronica shook her head sadly. Natalia only grinned. She knew a lot about life, if not everything. It was her mother who didn't know her daughter at all, and for her own peace of mind. And who tells their parents about all the wild things they get into? No? Well, some people may tell. But that is if the parents can really help with advice or deeds. And in Natasha's mother's case, what kind of help? Just whining tantrums and grabbing her heart. Oh yeah, and the "you shouldn't have done that" cries. Yes, Mom, you should not have taken that unfortunate yogurt, which had everything in order with the expiration date, but which apparently not so stored, and therefore provoked poisoning. Yes, of course, Mom. You shouldn't have taken that bus. You could have predicted, the question is how, that it would get stuck in the middle of the road, and you would have to wait for the next one for an hour and a half in the cold. And a lot of other "yes, Mom, we should have done it this way" in situations where it was not clear from the beginning how to do it right. Now, Natasha, who got a job in another city, decided to rent her own place. And since apartments were more expensive, the choice fell on rooms. In the tourist town, consisting mainly of private sector, it was a standard practice for landlords. In the season, rooms were rented to visitors for daily rent, and for the fall-spring period, students and workers moved in for more adequate money. The price for a room was the same as the cost of traveling from the small town where Natasha originally lived to her place of work. But it saved time, so living in the city of work was a favorable decision for the girl. She found suitable accommodation, talked to the owners and even other tenants already living in their rooms, and decided to sign a contract with this person. Here she was, about to go, to the screams of her mother, promising Natasha big problems in the future. Problems, the girl knew that. There would always be problems, because people living on the same territory rarely do without disagreements. And such problems face, in fact, the inhabitants of any real estate. In dormitories and communal apartments, quarrels happen between neighbors in the rooms, in ordinary apartment buildings, with neighbors on the riser and stairwell. Even living in a private house can quarrel with neighbors on the street. And if you are afraid of these problems, it remains only to go to the forest. True, so already the conflict will arise with wolves, bears, and other animals. Natasha's problems in this apartment began immediately. Literally the next day after arrival, the girl missed one bath bomb, and her towel was a little damp, as if someone had wiped with it instead of her own. The girl immediately changed this towel into 2 sex rags, at the same time rejoicing that she takes such things in funny prices and svetofor, in connection with which the purchase of a new towel will not make a hole in the budget. Natasha immediately dragged all her bath and shower accessories to her room. Now she only took what she needed when she went to take a shower, immediately returning it back to her room. Tea and bread began to disappear next. Being a working girl, Natasha at home only ate these breads for breakfast, spreading raspberry jam on them. It is not known whether the unknown thief had eaten the jam, but Natasha drew conclusions here too and dragged all the food into her room. It didn't spoil, but now it was safe from strangers. No. It would be possible to go on principle, to catch all 3 remaining inhabitants of the floor at dinner and say, "So-and-so, I'm losing food and soap and cleaning supplies. Which one of you is dragging it away quietly?" But after that, the unknown thief will lie low for a while, and then return to his practice, and he'll act like an insulted innocent. And relations with the other neighbors will be spoiled, because everyone will be uncomfortable with such suspicions, so she'd better do it her own way, little by little.
Do you want some milk?
During one of the breakfasts, behind her back came the voice of one of the boys who lived in the room together. Brothers, who came from the village to earn money. That was all Natasha knew about them.
No, thank you.
It's good, homemade, fatty, not like these store-bought packets.
I can't have any. I'm lactose intolerant.
It wasn't customary to talk about such things out loud, even with boys, of course. But to refuse a friendly gesture for no apparent reason would have been rude.
Yeah.
Then he landed across the table from Natasha.
Intolerance, huh? So you don't drink milk at all, not in any form?
I don't drink milk, I don't eat cottage cheese, and I don't even breathe on sour cream and yogurt. What's the problem?
Have you ever lost any of your things or food?
I did when I first moved in. Somebody took my bubble bath, used my towel, and some tea and muffins went missing. I just put them in my room.
I see, so it wasn't you.
You thought I was stealing?
It all started after you came over. So I thought I'd talk to you.
What's there to talk about? If you know who's stealing, you have to go to the landlord and solve the problem.
So I'd complain about you thinking it was you. So what's the next step?
Maybe I'd put a hidden camera in the kitchen and find out it wasn't me. Then what, so it's Vadim who's taking it?
He's an M-word, Dick. Why would he do that? If only you had taken it, but he earns good money and you've seen what kind of car he has. Why are you laughing?
No reason. I don't know why you took me for a beau, MJ and a hooch, but I work and earn money too.
Oh well. My brother and I thought maybe you were a student. You've got almost no food, no car, and you're dressed from funny prices. Anyway, we thought she was from the poor contingent. Then it's understandable if a person takes a couple glasses of milk or steals 2 spoons of sugar.
I don't understand, Marat. I was a student myself, and I was also in different situations. If things are really bad, you can always ask. Or even a part-time job where, in the same supermarkets, to lay out the goods for 3 to 4 hours a day, constantly need people. For students is the best. Pay not God knows what, but enough for pasta and sausages, personally checked. It's not good to screw around with any income.
Well, you're so categorical about it. We're a little more gentle. We thought we'd offer you cooking, laundry, and all that, and we'd give you some groceries and money. But you don't seem to be in need.
Not even once. The only thing I need is to be able to leave tea and bread in the kitchen. I don't have much food because I have a good canteen at work. I have lunch and dinner there, but it's still annoying to go back and forth with food and bath accessories.
Natasha admitted. And it was unpleasant to live in the same house with a man who could steal something like that. You wouldn't lock your room every time you went out for a quick pee. Natasha did now, but it was still annoying.
We have similar goals, so will you play along tonight?
Marat briefly outlined his plan, which Natasha, being a fan of pranks and not a thief, immediately approved. When she came home after work, she saw Vadim glistening with a smooth-shaven chin. Marat winked at Natasha behind the man's back, and his brother Nikolai smiled faintly. The 3 men were huddled around the kitchen preparing to eat dinner. Natasha, who usually did not keep them company, went to the bathroom as agreed, and then came back and asked,
Guys, has anyone seen a razor blade lying on the curb?
What, the razor is missing?
Yes, maybe I stuck it somewhere. I was shaving the star in the morning. I was in a hurry. I'll go and look for it again.
Greening Vadim, clamping his mouth with his hand, rushed to the bathroom, and hastily washing his face, he didn't even close the door behind him. So Natasha, Marat, and Nikolai admired the picture of the thief giving himself away. Then Natasha was sent to her room, and the brothers had a long talk with Vadim. Maybe they weren't just talking, but Natasha didn't pay any attention to the commotion in the kitchen. She just turned up the music in her headphones and started to play another level in her favorite toy. The next morning, Vadim, shining with Fiegels, packed his things. In the afternoon, Natasha and the guys met Darina, who was moving into the vacated room. Well, now Natasha's mother can be calm for her daughter. There are not only men around. Natasha herself is calm because no one is using her things or stealing her food. Unhappy, perhaps, only Vadim, who still in terrible dreams remembers the day when he shaved his face after the woman used the machine for its intended purpose on the lower floor. However, it is unknown whether this story has weaned him from taking other people's things without asking.